Hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? This is a uncommon short for you guys. We're giving you guys the courtesy of a nice short about something that we feel is newsworthy. So I definitely want to jump right into this subject. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity today to see this press conference by I think Caroline Levitt as Trump's press secretary, and I think it was also his Treasury secretary. I can't remember this guy's name. They kind of have some interesting things to say. I guess the Trump administration is now taking the tack that anyone who speaks out about his tariffs that's a political attack. If they say, "Oh well, this is how much money the tariffs are going to cost you based off of what you're purchasing now," that's now considered a hostile political act. Timu's doing it. They're showing you that hey, this item that would have only cost you $250 is now going to be $308 based off the fact that you're going to be paying $58 in a tariff fee that they told you was going to be paid by another foreign country. But hey, I don't come on here to talk to people who voted for him because there's nothing to explain to that person. They already had their ideology made up in their head. Their entire ideology was exactly what they were shooting for. I come on here to actually talk to people who may have believed that these people were thinking when they actually, voted for this person. I'm sure they're thinking in their own right, but they don't have a clear frame of mind. They have no understanding of what America should be or where America should be going. But just take a listen to what these people have to say about a business putting on here and telling you an itemization that, hey, this is another tax. Were they just going to put it into the cost and just eat it and like, hey, we're charging you more? I don't think so. They're going to tell you where it's coming from. I think we'd all want to know. If something's a tip, it's going to say tip, or another country propina. You know what I mean? It's going to say these things. If it's a tax, it's going to say a tax. It's itemization of what it is. If you order something on Uber, they're going to have different tax and fees, and they're going to tell you what those different tax and fees are for. That's legitimate. That's a normal thing. And so now all of a sudden it's become a political attack if you say that this guy lied and said that, hey, no, these countries are going to be paying for all these taxes, when in reality, you're going to be paying the tariff. Taxes on these tariffs. So let's take a quick listen and see what these people actually had to say.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. So it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect, crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that.
Let me stop this right here really quickly. I mean, inflation is a normal thing that happens within the government. Inflation is from government overspending. This is what this is. This is what too many dollars into the market. That means governments did it. And they don't want to talk about who put the most money on the national, what president added the most to the national deficit in the shortest amount of time. That was Donald Trump. In 4 years, he had like $6 to $7 trillion to the deficit. He did that. I mean, basically off his tax cuts. People want to blame it all on COVID. No, but a large portion of it was because of his tax cuts. Then the other portion of it was because he didn't cut spending, which normally you should do. When you do tax cuts, you should do adjacent spending cuts. That's normal. He didn't do that. So, okay, on top of that, he didn't handle COVID properly. I don't want to blame COVID, and say, oh, this is COVID's fault. Every president has their COVID moment, whether it's that deep or whether it's not, whether it's a war, whether it's something, internally, whatever it is, we all have that moment. They all have, whether it's economic crisis, whatever it is, they've all had that moment. We didn't say, oh, well, Herbert Hoover, it was only because of the depression that this happened. No, we blame the depression on Herbert Hoover, even though it may not have been fully, he had some ideologies that led to it. But you know what I mean? So every president has that moment. We put you in charge to be in charge during that moment to make the right decisions. You didn't. So therefore, whatever happened after that, we're going to look at you and say, you know what? We're going to put this on you and your administration. So we're going to get a new one in office to make that happen. But yet and still, they want to come back and try to say they should have put it, the inflation that Joe Biden caused. That's political. That's what you call exactly political. They make no sense. But, and again, I'm not here to pretty much preach to the choir of these people who already knew what they were voting for. I'm talking to the rest of y'all who didn't vote, who said that she was, oh, we didn't know her, she wasn't, black enough, whatever the case may be, whatever story you came up with for yourself, which is fine. We're here now. This is where we are. So deal with this situation right here. Deal with the person who's willing to lie to your face and then come back and blame someone else for exactly what they caused. Let's go ahead and continue.
It's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is Jeff Bezos still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. And Secretary, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would also add that the bringing down the terrible Biden inflation has been a priority for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and President Trump has done a great job of leading that since January 20th. Interest rates, mortgage rates are down, gasoline and energy prices are down. We're expecting the further decreases. And as Caroline said, the big tax on consumers that goes unnoticed is deregulation or regulation, and we are deregulating and bringing that down. So, from a household income point of view, we would expect real purchasing increases. We've seen them over the first 100.
Yeah, man, these guys are just like, this is a clown show. And I know you guys are, used to watching. I'm used to watching it by now as well. But this is a straight clown show that we're all sitting here watching in real time. You want to blame, you want to take, first you're blaming him for all these things. Then you're taking credit for what you have done. You've done nothing. There's been nothing you've done. You haven't passed anything. You've done nothing. You basically just made a bunch of executive orders, tried to get rid of a bunch of people tried to fire a bunch of people. This is what you're doing. So you're exacerbating whatever the problem is you're causing. So if I fire hundreds of thousands of people, I'm not saying he's done that right now, but that's what he's looking to do, probably more than that even. And I raise prices on everyone else. So I'm taking money offline, which these people who I'm firing would be spending within the economy. Then at the same time, I'm raising prices on everyone else because these people, if they're taking that money offline, you're going to have to fire people in order to be able to. If a business is used to getting X amount of customers per day, and then these customers stop coming because they don't have a job to be able to come to your place of business. They're not being paid as well, wherever they find a job somewhere else, but they're not being paid as well. So they don't spend as much money. So that business is going to have to lay off some employees. So that exacerbates a problem. So now you've also raised prices on all the consumers across the board with these tariffs. I had a guy today tell me on my page pretty much, he's like, well, you won't be paying the tariffs if you buy local. This guy's crazy, man. This is really what first it was you weren't going to pay the tariffs. Now it is you're not going to pay the tariffs if you buy local. That's pretty much that's what they got to say about it now. It's crazy talk. But this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're going to deal with for years to come if we don't start voting the correct way. This is not me saying that the Democratic Party is the perfect party. But you know what I do understand? There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with. Their whole, it's a lot of their agenda that I have. There's nothing in me that agrees with at all, period. People are people, so you can make your own decisions, but your decisions don't need to affect me and what my life is, period. That's your decision. You can, I call them your paper bag games. Those are your paper bag games you want to go play. You play them how you want to, but I don't have to, partake in your games. That's your game. But there's a lot of the things that I do agree with the way that they handle the economy, with the way that they look out for, your fellow man in this economy. That's important. With the way we're trying to change education and healthcare, those things are important. They need to get an agenda and work it through, because right now these people will ram anything through. And when you guys get in office, you tend to kind of like slow foot around with what you want to go do. You need to start, bogarting pretty much. Biden, he got a number of things through diplomacy within, from the Democrats and Republicans. But you guys need to when you get your majority, ram that through. Period. You need to. Whatever agendas you need to ram through, get them through, because we need them as American people. Because these people right here have an agenda to destroy the middle and lower classes, upper middle classes. They want them out the way because they see who their main supporters are. even though their main supporters are people who are poor and uneducated. These are truly your main, these are people who are voting for you. They don't care about you, but you haven't figured that out. So I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to talk to the rest of America who has, I'm hoping, the open-mindedness, the understanding to see that these things are truly happening in front of our face. Basically telling you, I'm not going to listen to the courts. I'm not going to listen to anyone else. And if you say something about me, you're a hostile and political action. And what is he going to do next with these hostile and political actions? He's kicked out news companies from being in the White House to report on what he has to say because he says, hey, you're fake news. So anything you say about him is fake news. When it's true, it's absolutely true what's happening. So, I mean, this is where we are. And I just want to give you guys a quick take on this. I wonder what you guys think about it. Leave your answers in the comments.